Lynda's face, the music, this scene is my favorite one I've made so far. Hey, look, I'm going to another op.
We can't go on like this.
I feel like I'm close.
I just can't understand. War destroys lives, and it seems like you can't live without it.
They're the same monsters. I can't stop thinking they're out there, and I know I can stop them.
Then let someone else handle it. You've already risked enough for 100 lifetimes.
It would be only this time. After this, I will move to an analyst position.
That's bullshit. I can't continue on like this. Ulysses, I love you, but you cannot seem to have any type of appreciation for your life. This is destroying me. I believe you are addicted to war, and I can't handle that anymore.
No, Lynda. I'm going to tell you how I made this scene where Miller's girlfriend finally ends their relationship. The last episode I uploaded has a lot of cinematics where I unfold a narrative that goes beyond the gameplay itself. Thanks to these cutscenes, I can tell you the Chronicles of Miler with a kind of cinematography that no game engine could ever reproduce. Of course, I'd love for these stories to actually happen in-game, but it's impossible to build anything consistent with the random players I've run into. So, we're still staying true to the idea of building stories through gameplay, but now I have some really powerful tools to give you the story and the characters much more depth and to keep unfolding the Chronicles plot. In fact, in this latest episode, I rely heavily on cinematics, bringing to life characters that used to exist only as concepts. I made them talk and interact with Miller even while he's on the mission. Without further delay, I'm going to explain the reason behind this breakup scene. This moment, together with the scenes in the Shadow Team offices, sheds the light on a part of the Chronicles that I had never shown before, nor could I. After the Altis War, Miller moves from Spain to London, and that's where he lives during all the years before the outbreak of the Z virus. It's during this time that he works as a contractor. These are years in which Miller goes back and forth between missions, and of course at some point he ends up in a relationship. In this case, with a young British woman named Lynda. Miller's love life is supposed to be a complete mess because of his other life as a contractor. He's a very attractive guy, but every time he goes on a mission, he's exposed to physical and psychological damage, and that ends up destroying many of his relationships. For example, in the Fatal Error episode, Miller kills one of his teammates by mistake, causing him severe emotional and mental trauma. Just imagine the version of Miller that his girlfriend Lynda has to deal with when he comes back from the mission. Imagine the pain Lynda goes through every time he leaves again. Lynda is meant to serve as an anchor for the Chronicles, a link to a more realistic dimension of the story. The idea here is to build characters. Thanks to this, I've discovered an entire field I used to ignore: storytelling, screenwriting, script creation. It's an incredible vast world mastered only by a few writers and screenwriters, and it's the key behind the success of so many productions. The basic rules of screenwriting are present in every show and movie we watch. And when you start exploring that world, you realize there are techniques that are used constantly. One of them is investment in the main characters. This means the audience has to spend time with the characters who will later go through things, because if there is no attachment, we can't suffer or feel joy depending on what happens in the story. As viewers, we connect to the emotions of a story by putting ourselves in the character's place. As the creator of the Chronicles, I obviously want us to spend time and empathy on Miller because he's the central character of the story, and if I only saw him shooting people, well, there's no real way to invest in him emotionally. And now we go on to this scene. Miller is supposed to leave the Shadow Team office and meet Lynda at a downtown pub. They both live about an hour from central London, so if they want to see each other after work, a pub is the most natural spot. Both Lynda and Miller are getting off work, but it's not just another day. That day, Kirk, Miller's boss, and by the way, it's the same Kirk who previously went on a mission with Miller when he killed his partner Dave in Fatal Error episode, he has called him in. Miller had promised Lynda not to go on to another mission and to quit field work altogether, focusing on safer tasks. But the problem is, Miller is addicted to war, and this mission gives him a chance to face a group of Russian mercenaries he's hated since the Altis War, where he witnessed them committing war crimes. During that war, Miller infiltrated with Altis rebels and grew attached to the island and its people. War addiction is more common than most people think. It seems strange that someone could crave a situation that constantly risks life and stability, but it's surprisingly frequent. You can see Sebastian Junger's TED Talk titled "Why Veterans Miss War." I will leave the link on the description for more on that. It is a little bit of an unpopular topic, but there are few pieces here and there about that. Let's continue with the zine. I use red lighting in the zine to subtly convey its emotional tone, and it matches the channel's branding color that I did when I started almost 2 years ago. It symbolizes how Miller's relationship with Lynda becomes another casualty of his story. The zine has 3 audio layers. The puff background noise, which I built using 11 Labs. Here you have. And then we move to Lynda's dialogue. I also used 11 Labs, but this time I prompted the emotional tone of each sentence, and this feature is amazing. Look.
We can't go on like this. I just can't understand. Then let someone else handle it. You've already risked enough for 100 lifetimes.
We also have Miller's dialogue, which is my own voice, which I'm not thrilled about. Despite years speaking English, my accent is still strong, which isn't ideal for screen protagonists, who are usually neutral, so audiences can project into them. Also, I'm not a great actor, but you learn by doing, and I couldn't spend too much time perfecting it. Still, the result, I think, is emotional convincing enough for the situation that we have. But it took me a few times to do it because I wasn't really feeling that the conversation I was portraying was fitting the situation, the environment. It was even a little bit weird to feel Lynda talking with a perfect British accent with a Spaniard like me. And let's be honest, we live in an international globalized world, so many of us speak English. So this relationship could definitely be possible. So here we have a sample.
I just can't understand. War destroys lives, and it seems like you can't live without it.
They're the same monsters. I can't stop thinking they're out there, and I know I can stop them. One of my favorite parts of this scene is the music. I generated a Shadow Warrior song specifically for this moment. What started as tracks for Miller's endings became a full AI-generated music project. It is called Shadow Warriors, and it has its own channel with videos and songs, and honestly, it's the kind of music I love to listen. I even play it when I go for a run and I need an energy boost. I leave the channel in the description. Honestly, sometimes I believe we don't have the music we deserve, so creating these songs for me is like a relief. The music theme that is portrayed on this scene is called Flame in the Dark and ties directly to Miller's and Lynda's failed relationship. If you see the lyrics, you will see there is a resonance to the actual scene. The song also has a retro vibe, and it's because Miler is inspired by the heroes of the 80s and 90s action movies. I think the guitar touches on this band give it perfectly the atmosphere of that era, but also has some futuristic landscapes attached to it. Let's go to check it out. The lighting, the music, the dialogue, I think all comes together in this scene. The only thing with it is that it shows a slightly different Miler than before. And this is because around the time I made this chapter, Google's Nano Banana AI model had just come out. Before that, character consistency was a real issue, though I didn't let it stop me from starting AI-driven cinematics. During the edit, though, I even redid the briefing scene with Miler boss 3 times using Nano Banana as the original. This path scene was created before Nano Banana existed, and I decided to keep it because I thought it captured exactly what I wanted to express. So yeah, I'm not going to stop talking about how amazing this project is, the storytelling, the screenwriting, the character building, the music, the videos. I never thought editing a gameplay would take me this far into the world of content creation. And with that, I'll say goodbye for now. Take care and see you in the next one.